Hi, it's Ra, Rishi Kavi Ragudas from Star Presence Astrology, here to give the astrological forecast for Wednesday, November 12th, 2025. Well, this is what I'm calling a step carefully sort of a day. There are a couple of difficult aspects and a few tricky ones to go along with it. Let me explain. The sun today is at 20 degrees of deep, dark water sign, Scorpio, emotionally intense, psychically sensitive, just generally passionate about everything and often given to power issues as well. And the moon today is moving through the latter degrees of grand and glorious fire sign Leo, always in the gold for the sun-ruled sign of Leo. Now, the moon generally is pretty buoyant and creative and fun-loving, but today some of these aspects may kind of temper all of that energy. The moon begins the day in an awkward angle, the 150-degree adapt, adjust, accommodate, inconjunct angle, 150-degree angle to Saturn, the planet of discipline and structure, and it doesn't set it off on a very buoyant tone. 25 degrees of Leo to Saturn at 25 of Pisces. This occurs early, 7:14 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:14 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 3:14 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And then there are many hours until the latter part of the afternoon where there's just this free-floating Leo moon. So that's kind of the best part of the day. But then later in the afternoon, the moon, as it gets to the end of Leo, 29 degrees of Leo, makes yet another inconjunct to Neptune, the planet of dreams and visions, and this could cause some mental and emotional confusion. Neptune is at 29 degrees of its home sign of Pisces, the very last degree of the very last sign. That occurs at 3:05 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 11:05 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Shortly thereafter, only 10 minutes thereafter, Mercury, the planet of communication, which is retrograde, you recall, at 6 degrees of Sagittarius, conjoins Mars, which is the planet of energy and often conflict, and this is pretty spicy and conflict-laden. It's in a fire sign, so we want to be really careful not to let our words or actions get aggressive under this kind of energy. All hell may break loose. 3:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that's exact. 6:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 11:15 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, followed only 14 minutes later, so we'll say simultaneously, to a hard square 90-degree angle to Uranus, the planet of sudden change and often chaos, sitting at 29 degrees of Taurus. So you got the idea. This is a pretty volatile sort of energy. 3:29 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that's exact. 6:29 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 11:29 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. Moon goes void of course for just a few minutes before it enters into hopefully much more sedate, practical, and hyper-organized Earth sign of Virgo. That settles the energy down quite a bit. That occurs at 3:52 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 11:52 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. A few hours later, the moon at 1 degree of Virgo makes the third inconjunct of the day, this time to Pluto, the lord of concentrated power, sitting at 1 degree of Aquarius. Not great for dealing with power issues. You're just going to have to be really careful today. 6:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when that's exact. 9:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2:50 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So if you get the idea that you're kind of walking through a minefield today, you would be correct. So the best thing to do is to just breathe, keep your own energy steady. I'm Ra, Rishi Kavi Ragudas from Star Presence Astrology. Now, if you'd like to have a personal reading with me, please book it on my website, starpresence.net. Remember, from the very moment that you're born, you've got star presence. Enjoy this day, hey, no matter what.